Hello.
Good morning, Jody.
Good morning. Good morning. This is my mother-in-law, Rochelle Holtz, and we're going to chat today, do a little interview because we know that Holtzes of the future will all want to know everything about you.
Oh, my heavens.
And Holtzes of the present. Probably your grandchildren, Asher and Ezra, will love to hear all your stories.
And secrets.
And secrets. Ooh, she's going to tell secrets.
Maybe not.
So I don't have much of a background in interviewing, and Rochelle doesn't have much of a background in being interviewed. But we're going to go ahead and get started. All right. So very kind of basic starting. Let's start at the beginning of Rochelle, which was December the
16th, 1947. I was born in Jacksonville, Florida. And I was there until I was about 2 years old. And the only recollection I have at that time, so I've been told, was that I liked to sit outside on the curb and eat the dirt. And I guess my mom and dad had no problem with that.
Well, your parents were a bit older for the time when they had you, because your brother's 17 years older than you.
Yes, he is.
So why were you born in Florida if your brother was born in New York and had grown up in New York?
Story has it that my father had rheumatic fever, and the doctor told him that in order to recuperate, he had to go to a warm climate.
Okay.
Connecticut was not a warm climate.
Yeah.
So my parents moved to Florida. My brother at the time was a senior in high school and did not want to move and change high schools. So he stayed with my grandmother, Ma Aquino. And even though he was with his friends, other family members, he never really forgave my parents for leaving him. Sad.
But your childhood then was in Long Island.
After I was 2 years old, yes.
Okay. So tell us a bit about
So we
where
moved
you
to
grew up.
Long Island, to Valley Stream in an apartment, and I went to kindergarten. The school was across the street from where we lived. And after that, we moved to South Hempstead, 590 Helena Drive in South Hempstead. And I had two really good friends there, Marlena Robertson and Sandy Grossman. Sandy Grossman now lives in Alpharetta.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, and Marlena's in New York. She's married, 3 children, and about 5 grandchildren. And I'm still in contact with both of them. And I went to Grand Avenue Elementary School. And then going into junior high, I started 7th grade, but then in November we moved to Seaford, Long Island. And I went to junior high and high school there in the Levittown School District. We lived in Wantaw, 1285 Dale Court in Wantaw. Then I had one good friend there, Ellen Hutt. Met her and her husband in 9th grade. They got married right after high school. Still friends with them today.
All of these people came to our wedding.
Yes, they did. They did. Well, not Sandy Grossman.
Well, that's true.
I had lost track of her until you moved here. And then, let's see. Then I met my husband, Richard, your father-in-law. That was...
Well, there was quite a bit of time between high school and meeting him.
Yeah. I went to high school.
What were you doing after high school?
After high school, I went to college in Farmingdale, New York, 2 years. And then I worked as a legal secretary because my mother thought I should be at Della Street working for Perry Mason. In case you don't know, that was a TV show back in the 50s, 60s, whatever.
Did you enjoy working there?
Not really.
Okay.
that wasn't quite a good fit. But anyway, I had a few jobs. I started a new job for Hazeltine, which was in Green Lawn, New York. And I met Richard. Well, I started the new job in March. I met Richard in April.
How old were you when you met Richard?
I was 26.
Okay, so we got to go back in time a little bit and talk about you more in high school, because I want to know some secrets. Now, I want to know a bit more about Rochelle in high school. What were some of the activities? What did you do for fun? How about that? I know you've referred to yourself as a hippie before.
You borrowed Grandpa's car.
Oh.
Yes, I used to love to go to discotheques every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday night. Did not go out on a Saturday night unless I had a date. It was just a thing back in the 60s.
Okay. Why Wednesdays?
That's when everybody went.
Okay.
Wednesdays, Fridays,
And did you go to
Sundays.
school on Thursday?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. Yes, my basic hangout was Ryan's on Hempstead Turnpike in Hempstead, near Hofstra College. A few other places. And I did go one night, and I asked my mom if I could borrow the car, because I did not have mine. And she said no. At the time, my father was in the hospital, but I wanted to go out anyway. So I took the car. I picked up my friend Pat Schneider, and of course, we got into an accident. I got hit by somebody making a left turn, and the car was totaled. Didn't know how to tell my parents, so I didn't. I called up my friend Ellen, and
On your cell phone?
no, in a phone booth. I did not have a cell phone. And she and her boyfriend came and they picked me up and they drove me home. Only to find out that the person that hit me, his parents called my parents, so my mom knew I was in an accident and didn't know where I was or how to reach me, or because it took time. Then, a few days later, when I visited my father in the hospital, I had to tell him he didn't have a car. So
Do you want to expand on that experience? Because I know he referred to I know he referred to you as his little doll.
yep, I was always little doll, but as he said, things do happen, so he was okay. Had to buy a new car, but that was it. Then in high school, I think it was August of '65, I had tickets to see the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show. So I went with Marlena and her boyfriend at the time, I don't remember his name, and another friend of mine whose name was also Dick. We went into the city to see the Beatles. It was the Beatles, Alan Rossi, Cilla Black, and Soupy Sales. And somebody did offer me $500 for my ticket, and I turned it down. And my mother says, "Why did you do that?" That was a lot of money way back. in
So are
1960.
you happy now that you went to the concert, or did you wish you had
Yes.
gotten the $500?
Nope, glad I went.
Okay.
And in time, my mother decided to sell her house and all of my Beatle memorabilia. She sold all my Beatles
And she did
stuff.
this in a garage sale. You said she would set up garage sales monthly, or just
Oh no!
whenever?
It was a daily garage sale for months.
Was that a common thing at this time
No.
period? No, it was just something your mom
No.
did? A little quirky thing?
She just
Okay.
wanted to get some extra cash, and she knew someday she'd be moving, and why not sell my stuff without asking my permission? So I would never sell any of my children's things without their permission.
Yes. You have been good
See,
about saving your
lessons
children's
learned.
Excellent. Do you remember, your first job that you had, did you work in high school?
Yes, I did.
Do you remember how much you made?
I made $1.25 an hour.
Okay.
I was a cashier in the toy department of White's of Massapequa, which is like Target or Walmart.
Okay.
So yeah, I started there when I was 16.
Do you have any good stories from working in a toy department? Did you
Met a
guys
lot.
play with the toys?
Met a lot of good friends.
Okay.
We were all about the same age, so it was good.
You got your $1.25?
I got $1.25 an hour.
What was your first car? Because
A 1969.
I know you didn't have
I
a first
saved-
car when you were in high school. When did you get your first car?
I was 19 years old.
Okay.
I had to save my money for the down payment. Yeah, it was a 1969 Chevy Malibu. It was gold with a black vinyl top, black interior.
Was it your dream car, or was it the car you could afford?
It was, that car at the time was $1,900. And I had to pay the loan off. And my working paid for the gas. And I think my parents paid the insurance.
Okay.
But I had to buy the car myself.
Even yeah, after what you had done with your dad's car, I'm not sure.
Yep.
It's nice you had a car at all. How about your first love? I know you jumped to Richard, but you were 26. It's up to you if you want to share any. Or how about a crush? Was there anyone? Was it the Beatles?
Well, I like the Beatles. No, the first person was Richard Shaw.
So you were into Richards.
I was into Richards.
Okay.
Dated him in high school. Went to senior prom.
And you were able to go out on Saturday nights with him.
Yeah.
Okay. Where did you guys go? What would a date look like?
Going to a movie or roller skating or bowling.
Oh.
Always going to the diner afterwards.
Did you ever go to each other's houses?
Not really. No.
It was going out. And did he have a car?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Did you go with other couples, or was it you and Richard?
Just the two of us for a while. Then my friend Ellen and Ed, they always wanted to set me up with their friends. Always.
While you were dating this other Richard?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they set me up with different people. And then
Because you weren't going steady with Richard. You were able to date other people?
No.
Okay.
Ellen's parents owned a coffee shop. And Ellen called me, Rochelle, there's this guy that comes in every morning for breakfast. He's really cute. You got to come in for breakfast. So I went in for breakfast. His name was Ernie. Ernie Knutson. So after a while, we started dating. And
Did you go steady with Ernie?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then my mother, you know how mothers know everything. Gee, you see Ernie almost every night during the week and on Saturday nights, but you never see him on a Sunday. I bet he was married and he has children. And I'm telling her, Mom, you're crazy. Sure enough, come to find out, he was separated, not divorced. And at that time, he had a 3-year-old son. I was 18 and he was 24. So that ended that.
Did you know that story, Jason? All right.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad you continued your dating story to Richard.
Yep.
Because now you have this wonderful family. So let's
Yes.
let's go ahead and jump forward to tell us how you met Richard. You were about to tell us before, but then we missed a
Okay.
whole big chunk of your life.
So I started a new job
Okay.
at Redactron. I started there in March. Richard worked there. I met him in April. we worked for the same boss, Robert Farenthal. And then one day he asked me to go, he was a volunteer fireman, so he asked me to go to a fire department function. And we started dating in April. And we got engaged the end of June. Married in November. So, and this year in November would be 50 years. Long time.
Yeah. So you had your wedding in New York?
Long Island, Narragansett Inn.
Was it common? No, dating for such a short period of time, was that common in this time period?
Not really.
I didn't think so. You planned a wedding very quickly.
Yes.
Were engagements generally longer than several months? Or I know you were still getting to know each other.
I guess when you know, you know.
You know, you know. So you tell us about your wedding.
Narragansett Inn had about 100 people. My in-laws, we had my father-in-law and Pinky, his second wife, and people from her family. We also had Richard's mother, Doris, and people from her family. And
your family is originally from, well, your mother's family is originally from Italy.
yes.
Were any of the Italians at your wedding, or at that point had everybody been born in America?
No, they were all born in America.
They were all born in America.
Yeah.
When did, do you know around which time your mother's family came over?
I have no idea.
No.
My grandmother was born in the 1800s, late 1800s.
And she was born in America?
Yes.
But her parents were born in Italy?
But she also felt she needed to get her citizenship papers. So she became a citizen. It's a story that I'm really not sure of how it
Why
evolved.
she became a citizen if she was born here?
Yeah. But she was very much into education, and she really did not go to school. She was self-taught, reading and math.
And she spoke Italian as well?
Oh, yes.
Her parents were Italian?
Yes.
Were from Italy?
Yes.
Okay, and then on your father's side, do you want to share a little bit about,
Well, his family came from Russia.
because I know a lot of his family was not at your wedding. I'm not sure if any of his family was.
Well, actually, when my father and mother were in high school together, and when they met each other in Spanish class in high school, and when they decided to get married, my mother was Italian Catholic. My father came from a Jewish family. His mother died giving birth to him, so he was raised by his grandmother, who was Russian, really didn't speak too much English, and he was the youngest of 6 siblings. When he decided to marry my mother, because they were Jewish, they kicked him out of the family. So even if they saw him walking down the street, they would walk to the other side of the street. But years forward, when I met Richard and we were going to get married, and Richard was Jewish, 2 of his sisters literally invited themselves to our wedding, which was nice. And we've kept a relationship ever since. I mean, both of them have since passed on, but I was friendly with their children. I had 2 cousins my age, one a year older, one a year younger. So.
You grew up in an area with lots of people who were Jewish. Is that
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And your mother, who was not Jewish, played Maj.
She played Marjan with Jerry Seinfeld's mom, and I never met her. And Gambino, who's a mobster, his wife, I don't know why she played Marjan, but she was not Jewish. But My mother had a lot of Jewish friends, and she played Mars. She was a member of B'nai B'rith, and
So this is kind of a silly question. Then I was just saying, how did I know?
how did I grow up?
No, how did your mom feel about your marriage to Richard? It sounds like Richard.
She was thrilled. At 26, she says, "Oh, my daughter's finally."
How funny is that? At 26, which
Yeah,
now
that's
sounds
what-
very young to get married.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what
Yeah,
age do
she-
people generally get married in the? You got married in the 1974.
74.
So in 1974, what would you say? How old were most of your friends when they got married? Like around range.
A lot younger. A lot younger.
Younger than 26.
Yeah.
Because it's now 20, 24, and 26 would actually be considered a little younger,
Yeah.
mid end. So excellent. Should we be talking about your children? We're gonna get to that. She's got a whole bunch of years before that. Yeah, I guess. Got a lot of other things to learn about her. So you got married and you had children. How many years later? Because I know that was the highlight of your life was of course having Jason, but
Jason was a wonderful part of my life.
how old were you when Jennifer was born?
We were married about 6 years.
You've been married about 6 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what did you do before kids? You and Richard, I mean.
We worked.
You worked. That's
Full time. Full time. We got married. We were in an apartment for 1 year, and Richard wanted a house. So we bought our first house, 4-bedroom colonial on a half an acre of land for $75,000. So we put all the money we had into the house and really no money for anything else. So we, the landscaping outside was grass seed, and we had 100 azaleas that were $1 a piece. That was our landscaping. And then Richard and his cousins put in a brick walkway to the back of the house and a patio. Because for holidays, we had both sides of the family over, his side and my side. And
It's really
cousins.
special. When did you add the pool?
In that house, we did not have a pool.
Oh, so this was not the house that Jason and
No.
Jennifer. Actually, no, because you had moved several places before that.
No.
Let's skip ahead to the good stuff. So, so you were in this home, and then is that when you?
Okay, so we were in Hauppauge for 7 years. Then we moved to Connecticut because Richard got a job in Connecticut. We moved there. Jennifer was 2, and we no sooner moved in, and I found out I was pregnant with Jason. So we were there for about a year. No, a little bit longer than that.
It's easy to figure out how old was Jason when you
Yeah.
moved.
Jason was, how old were you when we moved?
He doesn't
I
remember.
don't know, maybe,
Like a year or something.
yeah, about a year and a half.
And I know he's proud. He was born in a very special hospital.
Yes, Yale, New Haven. Richard's stepsister was a doctor there. And I got all the best doctors. Of course, during the pregnancy, I had morning sickness for the longest time. I couldn't even get into a car. But when I saw that face,
Which reminds me, you named him Jason Scott, and that name was originally meant for your oldest child. Do you want to explain why you ended up naming her Jennifer instead?
because my doctors and the nurses in the doctor's office all said it looks like you're going to have a boy.
And that was based on looking at a picture of the sonogram?
No, that was based on looking at me.
Okay.
Yeah. No sonograms.
Yep. So
No
you,
sonogram.
when she was born, she was not.
She was not a Jason Scott, but kept the same initials. And Jennifer Suzanne. And she never really liked the name Jennifer or Suzanne.
Jennifer is a very popular name at the time.
Yes.
And Suzanne you picked because it started with an S?
Yes.
Which is the same letter.
As Sarah, which was Richard's grandmother.
And had you ever met her?
No.
No, but she had died, and it's
Yes.
traditional to name somebody.
Yes.
Okay.
But I always liked the name Jason Scott, and I love names that started with the letter J.
Yeah.
Even your name,
I
Joe.
know. Even yeah. And Richard and Rochelle, 2 R's, and then Jennifer and Jason. So it worked really well.
Yes.
All right. So you moved back to Long Island, and
You have 4 minutes.
oh, I have 4 minutes. What should we talk? I've got some other questions, or we can talk about when you got a dog.
We can do episode 2.
We could do episode 2 another time. Yeah. Yeah, I've got some deep questions coming
Oh
up.
dear.
Maybe we could do those another time.
Okay.
Let's just briefly summarize Jason's childhood. Just kidding. What was your favorite thing about being a mother? Or did you enjoy being a mother?
I love being a mother.
Yeah.
I was a stay-at-home
I mean, you're still a mother. A mother to young children.
I was very happy that I could be at home with my children while they were little and growing up. Of course, when we moved down to Florida and Jason was in school full time, he did say, now I can go back to work.
He was a lot of work, though.
He was.
No, he wasn't.
He was very easy. He was an easy child.
Very good. Well, I think we're off to a good start and a bit of your history.
Yeah.
And
And I'm very proud the way my children grew up. Very proud of both of them. And my daughter-in-law, too.
but we will check back in with you for another episode.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you, Jody.